Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into some dire predictions about what could happen as soon as December 2025. Now, I know what you're thinking. Predictions, especially dire ones, are usually about as accurate as a blindfolded archer. And you're right to be skeptical. But the thing is, the future isn't some abstract concept. It's built on the foundations of the present. And right now, those foundations feel a little, well, shaky. So, let's talk about why the next few years might be a wild ride, shall we? Stay tuned to find out more. Okay, so imagine this. You're at a party, and everyone's having a good time, but you notice the music's gotten a little too loud, the lights are flickering, and people are starting to bump into each other. It's getting chaotic, right? That's kind of where we are with the global economy right now. It's like a party that's been going on for too long. For years we've been partying like it's 1999. With low interest rates and soaring stock markets, everyone's been riding high on the wave of economic prosperity. But just like that party, things can't stay unsustainable forever. Eventually the music has to stop. Some economists are warning that we're headed for a major economic correction, maybe even a full-blown collapse. It's like the party's about to hit a wall. Think about it. Inflation is still a thing, and it's not just a minor inconvenience. Supply chains are still messed up, causing delays and shortages in essential goods. And a lot of countries are drowning in debt, which is like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. Now, I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but it's a possibility we have to consider. We can't just ignore the warning signs. Imagine for a second what that would look like. Businesses closing, unemployment skyrocketing, your savings suddenly not worth what they used to be. It's a grim scenario, but one that's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Your hard-earned money losing its value, making it harder to afford even the basics. It's not a pretty picture, but it's one we need to be prepared for. We can't afford to be caught off guard because here's the thing about economic downturns. They don't just impact our wallets, they impact everything. Our daily lives, our future plans, everything. Think about the social unrest that comes with widespread unemployment, the political instability that arises when people are struggling to put food on the table. It's a domino effect, and it's not something we want to see unfold. The ripple effects can be devastating. But hey, maybe I'm just being pessimistic, right? Maybe things will turn around and we'll avoid the worst-case scenario. But it's better to be prepared and not need it than to need it and not be prepared. So let's keep an eye on the signs and hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Let's talk about something a little less gloomy, shall we? Artificial intelligence. It's everywhere these days, from the algorithms that recommend your next favorite song to the self-driving cars that are hopefully not going to crash into us anytime soon. AI has the potential to revolutionize our world in amazing ways, from curing diseases to solving climate change. But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? There's also a darker side to AI. I'm talking about the potential for job displacement on a massive scale, the ethical dilemmas of autonomous weapons systems, and the ever-present fear that AI might just decide it doesn't need us humans anymore. Remember Skynet from Terminator? Okay, maybe it won't be that dramatic, but the point is, AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for evil. It's up to us, as a society, to make sure we're using it responsibly. We need to be having serious conversations about AI ethics, about regulation, about the potential consequences of creating something that might just be smarter than we are. Because if we're not careful, AI could go from being our greatest invention to our biggest regret. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the melting glacier on the mountaintop, climate change. It's real, it's happening right now, and it's not going away anytime soon. We've all seen the headlines, record-breaking heat waves, devastating floods, wildfires raging out of control. And as bad as things are now, scientists warn that this is just a taste of what's to come. By 2025, we could be seeing even more extreme weather events, rising sea levels swallowing up coastal cities, and mass migrations of people displaced by climate change. It's a bleak picture, but it's one we need to face head-on. The good news is, it's not too late to act. We can still mitigate the worst effects of climate change if we act now. We need to transition to renewable energy sources, reduce our carbon footprint, and invest in sustainable practices. But it's not just up to governments and corporations to make a change. We all have a role to play. Every little bit helps, whether it's reducing your own carbon footprint, supporting businesses that are environmentally conscious, or just spreading awareness about the issue. Remember, this is our planet and it's the only one we've got. Okay, let's talk politics. It's a subject that often sparks intense emotions and heated debates. Whether you're at a family dinner or scrolling through social media, political discussions are everywhere. Now I know it's a topic that can be as divisive as pineapple on pizza. Some people love it, some people hate it, and everyone has an opinion. But the truth is, politics matters. It's not just about who's in charge, it's about the policies that shape our daily lives, the laws that govern us, and the values that define our society. It shapes our world, our lives, and our future. From the air we breathe to the education we receive, politics has a hand in it all. And right now, the political landscape is about as stable as a Jenga tower after a few too many rounds. Every move seems to bring us closer to a tipping point. We're seeing a rise in nationalism, populism, and political polarization all over the world. These movements are reshaping the political map and challenging the status quo. Trust in traditional institutions is eroding, and social media is amplifying divisions like never before. Algorithms push us into echo chambers, reinforcing our beliefs and isolating us from opposing views. This creates a breeding ground for misinformation, distrust, and frankly, some pretty bad decision-making. Fake news spreads like wildfire, and it becomes harder to distinguish fact from fiction. By 2025, we could be looking at a world where international cooperation is even more difficult, where alliances are strained, and where global challenges are harder to tackle. Where conflicts erupt more easily, fueled by misunderstandings and a lack of diplomatic dialogue. And where finding common ground feels like an impossible dream. Communities become more divided, and the middle ground seems to vanish. So, what can we do about it? How do we navigate this battleground of ideas without losing our way? Well, for starters, we need to be more critical of the information we consume. Fact-checking should become second nature, and we should always question the sources of our news. We need to be aware of our own biases, understanding that our perspectives are shaped by our experiences and backgrounds. And we need to be willing to engage in respectful dialogue with people who hold different views. It's through these conversations that we can find common ground and build bridges. Democracy, after all, is not a spectator sport. It requires active participation from all of us, not just during elections but every day. It requires active participation, critical thinking, and a commitment to understanding the issues at hand, and a willingness to listen to each other. Listening is just as important as speaking, and it's through listening that we can truly understand different perspectives. It's messy, it's complicated, but it's also the best system we've got. Democracy thrives on diversity of thought and the collective effort to find solutions that work for everyone, so let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. So far, we've talked about some pretty heavy stuff: economic collapse, runaway AI, a planet in crisis, and a political landscape that looks like a Jackson Pollock painting. These are not just abstract concepts, they are real issues that are affecting our daily lives in profound ways. The economic instability is causing job losses and financial insecurity for many. The advancements in AI, while promising, also bring fears of job displacement and ethical concerns. Our planet's environmental crisis is leading to more frequent natural disasters, and the chaotic political climate is creating divisions and uncertainty. But amidst all of this, there's one more thing we need to talk about: us. How are we, as individuals and as a society, going to navigate through these turbulent times? It's easy to feel overwhelmed, but it's crucial to remember that we have the power to shape our future. How are we, as individuals and as a society, going to adapt to these challenges? This isn't just about survival, it's about thriving in a new world. We need to rethink our approaches, innovate, and find new ways to connect and support each other. It's about building a resilient community that can withstand the pressures of a rapidly changing world. The next few years are going to be a time of immense change. We will see transformations in our cities, our workplaces, and our social structures. The pace of technological advancement will continue to accelerate, bringing both opportunities and challenges. Urban development will need to keep up with the growing population and the need for sustainable living. We're going to have to grapple with new technologies, new social norms, and a world that feels increasingly uncertain. The way we communicate, work, and interact with each other will evolve. Social norms will shift as we adapt to new realities, and we will need to find ways to stay connected and supportive despite the uncertainties. But here's the thing about humans: we're remarkably adaptable. Our history is filled with examples of how we've managed to overcome adversity and come out stronger. From the Industrial Revolution to the digital age, we've shown an incredible ability to innovate and adapt. Throughout history, we've faced down challenges that seemed insurmountable at the time. We've dealt with economic depressions, world wars, and social upheavals. Each time, we've found ways to rebuild and move forward. We've overcome wars, famines, plagues, and even disco. These events tested our resilience, but they also brought out the best in us. They pushed us to innovate, to come together as communities, and to find solutions to seemingly impossible problems. And while the challenges we face today are different, our capacity for resilience, innovation, and compassion remains the same. We have the tools and the spirit to tackle whatever comes our way. Our ability to innovate and our compassion for one another will be our greatest strengths. So what does that mean for us? It means we need to be proactive in learning and adapting. We need to embrace new technologies and find ways to integrate them into our lives in a positive manner. It means being open to change and willing to step out of our comfort zones. It means we need to be prepared to learn new skills, to adapt to new ways of living, and to support each other through difficult times. Whether it's through online learning, community workshops, or simply helping a neighbor, every action counts. We need to build a culture of continuous learning and mutual support. It means we need to be kind to ourselves and to each other because we're all in this together. Mental health and emotional well-being are just as important as physical health. Supporting each other through acts of kindness and understanding can make a significant difference. The future may be uncertain, but one thing's for sure: it's going to be interesting. With our collective effort, we can turn challenges into opportunities and create a world that is not only resilient but also thriving and full of hope. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. See you next time.